Hi everyone, you're watching Good for the Game TV and welcome to our handicap projection show for the quarterfinals. Yes, after 18 intensive weeks, we are down to the last 8. We'll have a look at all 4 of those matches. I'll share my handicaps with you. I've also got Dave from Australia, his handicaps, and some of the bookmakers are out with early lines. We'll have a look at GG Gaming and World Sports Betting as well. What a weekend it was, though. 7 matches. If you followed the Good for the Game previews, well, you certainly were in the money. All 7 previews delivered a profit. It was really one of those weekends where everything just came together, culminating in the Bulls game, where I can tell you I was at Loftus with my son and some friends. 2 of his friends, poor guys, are Lions supporters. What an incredible game it was. Intensity from both sides, and really, really enjoyed every moment. Before you do anything else, though, if you are new to our channel, go down below the video and hit the subscribe button. We've got plenty of videos coming up as we head into the World Cup. We don't only do rugby, though. We will have some cricket previews, particularly as we get to the knockout stages. And don't miss our rugby show on a Monday night. That's Use It or Lose It. Tomorrow night, we're going to be talking about the state of New Zealand rugby. Have they lost their fear factor? Are we reading too much into that? We'll also have a look at the quarterfinal lineups for Super Rugby. I'm going to be sharing my screen with you now, though. And let's quickly, to start off with, let's run through the last week's games from a betting angle, of course, because most of what we do on this channel is from a betting angle. Highlanders up against the Waratahs, 49-12 to the Highlanders. A comfortable victory. Well, if you watched my handicap projection video last week, you would have seen I thought this would open at about -14.5. It was actually -10.5 early. And punters, including myself, absolutely climbed in. The handicap eventually starting around the 17, 18-point mark there. We were never in doubt. The Waratahs race had been well and truly run the week before already, and the Highlanders came out and smacked them. Big profits all around. We took the halftime handicap in our preview. That also arrived. There were really no problems at all there on the Highlanders destroying the Waratahs. Got us off to a cracking start to the weekend. The Rebels then against the Chiefs. Well, I couldn't believe this when the betting came out and the Rebels were slight favourites. It almost looked like a trap. One of those games where you think, what am I missing? Is there something on team selection I'm missing? The Chiefs 2 weeks before had beaten the Crusaders, coming from 20-0 down in Fiji to beat them. So I got involved. I probably didn't get involved as much as I should have, because I did sense that I must be missing something. As it turns out, I was missing absolutely nothing. The Chiefs absolutely hammering the Rebels, and also then booking their spot in the playoffs. The Hagioris against the Sunwolves. This game I treated with quite a bit of respect, and it was one that I got really lucky on in the end. I took the Hagioris -10.5 halftime handicap. I'd been out on Friday night, so I stayed up late to watch the first half. Looked good in patches, but then the Sunwolves had scored a couple of tries, and then an unlikely conversion missed by the Sunwolves meant there was 90 seconds left. They were trailing by 4 points. I then got a penalty try to the Hagioris, which was totally the correct decision, but just one of those things that went my way just on the hooter. That meant the Hagioris got up to lead by 11 at the break. Another bet was banked. It was also the second leg of our accumulator, which I'll go into now in our newsletter. But that was 52-10. I didn't watch the second half, but the Hagioris running away with it. They started 23-point favourites. Hurricanes up against the Blues. Well, this was a big disappointment for me on the weekend. Not from a betting perspective, because we got on the Blues at +9.5 in the early betting, if you read the preview on Good for the Game. But I changed from Hurricanes to Blues on Super Brew right at the end, right before kickoff. And, you know, when they were leading, what were they leading? 24-5 or something ridiculous at halftime. You had to think, surely now the Blues are going to kick on and win the game. But these guys, they somehow find a way to self-destruct. And I was actually shouting at the TV. I was in a restaurant having a brunch with a mate of mine. And you'd think I would have had big money on the game, but it wasn't the money. I just couldn't believe that I'd made that change to the Blues. Yet another disappointing season for the Blues. The Brumbies up against the Reds. I didn't watch any of this game. The Reds started quickly. We did tip the Brumbies on the minus here, -7.5 or 8.5 in the preview. They duly delivered, despite the fact that the game never really meant much to them. The Stormers up against the Sharks. I also didn't get to see much of this one, but I did watch the last 5 minutes sitting in Loftus on Oracle Rugby's phone, actually. Couldn't believe the way the Sharks came through and scored that try. Well done to the likes of Henrik Swatu on the Sharks to make the playoffs early in the season. And he was also on the Lions not to make the playoffs, and that also delivering with the Bulls beating them convincingly. They only needed the bonus point. And this was also our best bet of the week. Some of us had got on the 8-10 Bulls that opened early doors. But even when it came time to writing the preview and the handicap had shifted, we were very, very confident about the -4.5. In fact, so confident that we made it the best bet in our newsletter. So I'll just take you to this. It's a weekly email that comes out on a Friday morning. I'm going to show you how to subscribe now. It's absolutely free. We don't hit it all the time, I'm going to be straight with you, but we do happen to be on quite a nice run at the moment. 5 units, Bulls -4.5. We went there with GG Gaming. And if you have a look at our ACCA at the bottom, Waratahs under 18.5 points. They ended up with 12. Chiefs win. They won comfortably. Jags, well, we all know that one absolutely scraped in on the halftime handicap. And the Bulls -5.5. That was 11.69 to 1. And that was at World Sports Betting. So a very nice weekend for us on the newsletter. I will put a link below this video how you can subscribe. You click through that link, and all you do is enter those simple details. We don't want to know anything else about you. It's just so that you can get our weekly mailer. That then is the results for the week. I'm going to take you over now then to the Good for the Game forum, where I'm about to make another post. We already had an early post this morning from Dave from Australia. He posted his handicaps, which are on the left-hand side. I then put my projected handicaps in, and subsequent to that, we've got GG Gaming and World Sports Betting that have come out. So GG Gaming I'm putting next to mine, and then World Sports Betting in brackets. So let's run through the game, shall we? Crusaders, who finished, of course, top on the table. They play against the Highlanders, who finished 8th. -12.5, said Dave. I was in 100% agreement. GG Gaming -13.5. They're slightly higher. I see they have gone 8 to 10, suggesting some money for the Crusaders. And World Sports Betting will lay -15.5. Yeah, I'd have to say that we're all pretty much on the mark there. It seems as though Dave and I might have been a little bit low, and this handicap may well start closer to the 15.5 point mark. Hagiharis, well, they're at home to the Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs are really running some excellent form. If you think how they beat the Crusaders 2 weeks ago and absolutely hammered the Rebels on the road. Well, I said -2.5. Dave went -4.5. GG haven't priced a handicap, but they've gone 13 to 20. And World Sports Betting, well, they're in agreement with Dave there at -4.5. I just have a sneaky feeling that the Chiefs might be peaking at the right time in this tournament. It's going to be a very tough game. I'm not going to get involved at this point. I don't think we're going to see much line movement. I suspect the Jags will start narrow favourites. The Hurricanes, well, they're playing against the Bulls. I was at Loftus with my son and his 2 friends. What a pleasure to watch that game. What a pleasure to have a really good collection on it as well. I was high on Bulls points over 30.5. That was delivered in 30 minutes. I had to wait a bit in the second half as the Lions came back, but eventually the Bulls drawing clear to deliver the 8 to 10 outright, the -4.5. And of course, let's not forget the final leg of that accumulator. I thought -10.5 here, Dave -14.5. The bookmakers have come in between us, -13.5 at GG and -11.5 at World Sports Betting. I see a comment on the Good for the Game forum. I think it's just before mine, from Belfast Boy, a new poster. And he is suggesting that he thinks the Bulls might be able to beat that handicap. He was very, very impressed with them on Saturday. The Brumbies, they're up against the Sharks. The Sharks we know are good travellers, but the Brumbies are always set to start fairly firm favourites here. I win 9.5, Dave 7.5. GG have opened at 6.5 and World Sports Betting at 8.5. So a bit of variety there, but really you can throw a blanket over our handicaps in that one. Just on that forum thread, I will be putting the link through to our newsletter as well. And yes, we did have a cracking weekend last weekend. Really looking forward to the playoffs. I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be exciting. I've got to say though that nothing really jumps out at me particularly heavy at this point. I'm not really going to part with any of the hard-earned ammo that we managed to build up last week. But yes, certainly we'll be looking at it as the week goes. If I find anything, I'll post it on the forum. And going to be very interesting to see what the other guys come up with. Thanks very much for watching the show. Yes, remember to subscribe and try and join us tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, for Use It or Lose It. And on Thursday night, that's at 9 o'clock for the Handicap Rugby Chat That Matters. We'll have the betting experts on, and we'll be looking into the betting on all of those games. Thanks, everyone. Have a cracking week.